Yogiri's just your average high schooler until Sion yeets him into another world with zero warning. To make things worse, his classmates ditch him, so he ends up tagging along with Tomochika instead. Now, Yogiri's got the ultimate cheat skill. He can literally insta-kill anything with a thought. Monsters, people, objects, gone. But all that power still can't send him home, so he's stuck adventuring, hoping to find a way back. So we start off with our MC, who looks like your average loser kid wandering through a corridor stacked with corpses and bullets flying everywhere. Super casual. He stumbles into a room where some psycho lady has his caretaker, Asaka, at gunpoint. The lady threatens to splatter Asaka's brains on the wall if Yogiri moves, but then mysterious death waves happen and the woman just keels over. Asaka's confused out of her mind, but Yogiri? He just smiles, hugs her, and says, "Let's go home," like nothing happened. Fast forward a few years, and we've got an older Yogiri taking a comfy nap during a class trip. His classmate Tomochika shakes him awake in full panic mode. At first, he barely remembers who she is, but when he looks around, oh, surprise! Half the class is lying around like soulless ragdolls. He peeks outside the bus and spots a giant wyvern circling them, ready to barbecue everyone. Most people would freak out, but Yogiri? He's more concerned about the girl hugging his arm. He mutters one word, "die," and the wyvern face plants instantly, just like that. No epic battle, no shonen screaming, just instant delete. Tomochika's jaw drops, but Yogiri shrugs it off and even pulls out his game console, casually gaming while she's having a meltdown. She scolds him, but somehow gets sucked into giving him gamer tips. Priorities, right? Anyway, she finally explains what went down. Their bus drove into some sketchy otherworld field where a girl named Sion, the granddaughter of some all-powerful sage, popped in, murdered their teacher like it was no big deal, and told them they were now candidates to become sages. If nobody makes the cut, they all get turned into magical livestock, cow life, or die. Sion installs a shiny RPG-style status screen in the glowing students, but Tomochika doesn't get one. Turns out she's not compatible. Harsh. Their first quest? Survive a dragon attack. Some of the kids panic. Some try to organize, but then comes Yazaki, the wannabe general with an ego bigger than his stats. He decides the weakest four, including Yogiri, should be bait. One girl's gift literally makes her attractive to monsters, so Yazaki uses her to lure the dragon. Classmates betray each other. Madness erupts. Basically a school field trip gone wrong. But here's the twist. While everyone's scheming, Yogiri quietly deletes the dragon. No one even notices. Tomochika realizes he's hiding something, but before she can press him, three shady classmates swoop in. One's a necromancer, one's a hero, and one's a healer. And guess what? They don't just want to fight. They want to turn Tomochika into a zombie, or worse. Yogiri's reaction? Deadpan murder mode. He points at the fireball guy. Die. Drops. Necromancer? Die. Drops. Only Fatso, the healer, remains, bawling for mercy. Yogiri explains his power instant death with a thought, and reveals he also senses murderous intent, so sneaking won't work. Fatso panics, throws on a slave collar, and begs to be Tomochika's servant. She transfers him to Yogiri, who orders him to strip of items and march into a monster forest. Cold, but fair. Tomochika's left blushing when Yogiri admits the real reason he decided to protect her, because she's got that developed plot. Yep, our boy basically risked it all for the power of curves. Meanwhile, Sion, chilling in bed, hears the report. The first mission cleared, but two S-rank hotshots instantly dead. She suspects instant death magic, but shrugs it off and goes back to sleep. So, the two finally make it to a nearby city. Tomochika's all hyped like, "Civilization! Woo!" While Yogiri is just sleepy. Priorities. They approach the city gates, but the guards start spouting gibberish. Neither of them understands a word, so they're just standing there like tourists lost at the airport. Eventually, the local lord shows up, grumbling about how annoying this is, and surprise, he speaks Japanese. Tomochika's thrilled, but Yogiri just goes straight to business. "Cool, can we get in? We're trying to catch up with our group." The guy's annoyed, says normally people gotta pay, but since they're sage candidates, he won't stop them. But here's the kicker, he also won't help them. What a customer service nightmare. Yogiri thanks him anyway and is ready to leave, but then the lord tries shooting his shot at Tomochika, asking her to stay the night at his place. Trash tier move. Tomochika nopes out hard, grabs Yogiri, and drags him away. Once inside, Yogiri casually asks why she ran so fast. Tomochika admits she was scared he'd just casually kill the guy, to which Yogiri, completely baffled, goes, "Do you think I'm some serial killer?" Spoiler, yes, but only when he feels like it. The city itself is full-on fantasy paradise beast folk everywhere, like a Disneyland for furries. A fox girl named Moo pops up, all friendly, asking if they're sage candidates. Tomochika geeks out over her fluffy ears, while Yogiri Yogiri just bluntly asks what she wants. Turns out, Mu offers to help them for free. Red flag. When asked why, she straight up admits it. Sage boys are both guaranteed future meal tickets and easy to seduce. Respect the honesty. Tomochika immediately decides this girl is hopeless, but Mu swears she just wants friendship, not Yogiri. Tomochika awkwardly clarifies that they're not dating, which only makes things weirder when Yogiri asks her opinion about their situation. She dodges, saying she wants to sightsee before dark, so Mu takes them on a shopping spree. Tomochika enjoys trying out cute clothes, but doesn't realize they're surrounded by bandits. Yogiri, of course, saw it coming and just lets it happen like he's watching a Netflix show. The bandits don't just want money, they actually want talentless sage candidates to beat up and sell. Tomochika freaks out, but Yogiri politely asks if he can just kill them. They laugh, thinking he's bluffing, but then he starts testing his powers like a kid playing with cheat codes. Die, half die, doesn't work. Okay, ankle, die, guy collapses. Shoulder, die. Another one is gone. Even eyeballs aren't safe. Tomochika thinks he's harsh. Yogiri insists he's trying to go easy. Absolute menace. Mu is horrified, asking who he even is, but Yogiri ignores her, deciding it's inefficient to kill body parts one by one. One guy tries sobbing about his little brothers, but Yogiri's like, sorry bro! Stealing and killing cancels out sibling excuses. When the last two run, Yogiri admits he didn't let them escape, he just delayed his death command. Talk about terrifying. Guards roll up, having clearly watched the whole mess without lifting a finger. Tomochika calls them out, but they admit they wanted to see who the bandits' backers were. Even worse, they try flexing that they're immune to gifts. Joke's on them though, because Yogiri and Tomochika technically have no gifts, so the guards can't touch them either. Classic loophole. The guards escort them to a fancy inn, which Tomochika mistakes for a castle. Yogiri casually suggests sharing a room to save money, which flusters her until he switches to side-by-side rooms. Still suspicious. She wonders if he actually likes her, or just her plot. While she's stressing, a spirit appears, her ancestor, Moko. Apparently, Tomochika doesn't have a gift, because Moko blocked it to keep her safe from Sion's control. Neat, but also awkward, because Moko's terrified Yogiri might just delete her existence. Next morning, Yogiri's got everything prepped. Translation spells, concealment charms, even a charger for his game console priorities. Again, they board a train, thinking it's chill, until a massive mecha shows up fighting a sage outside. Tomochika's freaking out, but Yogiri's rules are clear. If they're not messing with me, not my problem. Of course the sage does mess with him, demanding he kneel like a dog. Instant death. Engaged. Sage down. The mecha, surprisingly, doesn't attack. Instead, it wants to negotiate, offering Yogiri anything if he doesn't delete it. Yogiri asks if it can return them to Earth. Sadly, nope, it can only go back to its own world, not theirs. It does, however, drop hints about how they might climb world levels to eventually get home. Meanwhile, word spreads fast. Lane, the creepy vampire sage, learns Yogiri managed to kill another sage, a supposedly impossible feat. Now, she's obsessed with finding him. Tomochika and Yogiri, however, just camp in the woods where Tomochika learns her ancestor turned her underwear into a katana, because apparently, nothing in this world makes sense anymore. So, our duo wanders through the forest and finally makes it to Hanabusa City. Tomochika's all smiles, gushing that it kinda looks like Japan, while Yogiri looks like he just pulled an all-nighter playing Elden Ring. She panics over his weak condition, but he shrugs it off. Yeah, he's tired, but only because he casually killed every monster and bandit dumb enough to cross their path. Tomochika's like, wait, doesn't your power have limits? And Yogiri basically says, nope, infinite kills just makes me sleepy. Man's biggest weakness is nap time. Inside the city, Tomochika notices the place doesn't even have walls, just fancy magic barriers. They hit up a massive hotel, and who do they bump into? Tachibana, the classmate no one asked for. He's chilling with a maid squad, like some discount harem protagonist. Tomochika asks why he's not with the others, and he acts all smug, saying they were inefficient. Yeah, bro ditched them because he thinks grinding solo is peak strategy. His maids, 5 of them, by the way, immediately size up Tomochika like jealous mean girls. Tachibana half-heartedly tells them to chill, then flexes his new Dominator class, which supposedly lets him control anyone weaker than him. Dude even has the audacity to confess to Tomochika right there and invites her to be his lover. She's horrified. Yogiri's so bored, he doesn't even sense killing intent, and I'm just cringing on her behalf. Tachibana brags about his strategy. Buy cheap level 1 servants, let them fight, and farm XP while recruiting more. Basically, he turned this fantasy world into a pyramid scheme. Tomochika's unimpressed, Yogiri's mildly curious, and Tachibana leaves after telling her to think about being his girlfriend. Spoiler, she won't. Cut to Yogiri napping like a king, while Tomochika complains it's been 3 days of hotel life. Suddenly, the city outside starts burning. Some psycho is wrecking the place with an immortal army, turning corpses into zombies. Meanwhile, one of Tachibana's invisible maids tries to sneak into Tomochika's room. Yogiri, half asleep, just senses her bloodlust, says die, and problem solved. He even calls reception to report the body like he just found a spill in aisle 3. Tachibana, meanwhile, is busy flexing in a dungeon, using his barrier to shred monsters and enslave them. But when he realizes one of his maids got iced, he starts worrying Tomochika might slip out of his control. He orders his servants to handle her, which goes as well as you'd expect. One tries freezing Yogiri in ice, but he just kills the ice. Another unleashes creepy dolls, but Yogiri kills those too. The maids start panicking, realizing their smug boss might have underestimated the walking death machine. Then comes the cockroach army. Tachibana sends a wave of roaches to spy on and harass Yogiri and Tomochika. Tomochika, naturally, screams in disgust, while Yogiri calmly points out they could crawl into her mouth. She immediately vows revenge on Tachibana. Using the bug's bloodlust as a GPS, Yogiri casually snipes Tachibana with a death order. The wannabe harem king drops dead instantly, leaving his servants in shock. But there's a twist. The roaches are still alive. Yogiri explains it's because Tachibana's death freed them. Tomochika's horrified, but Yogiri just grabs her hand and tells her to run as the creepy crawlies go wild. Meanwhile, Tachibana's servants argue about being free now, some abandoning him altogether. The two slip into an alley, thinking they're in the clear until they hear blood-curdling screams. They look out into the streets, and the whole city is now swarming with zombies. The city is in full-on zombie apocalypse mode streets, crawling with the undead, people screaming, total chaos. Tomochika's freaking out, asking what the heck is happening, while Yogiri just shrugs like, relax, they're slow, we can outrun them if we're careful. But Tomochika, being the decent human she is, asks if they shouldn't try to help. Both Yogiri and the spirit are like, nope, not our problem. Let's bounce before things get uglier. Meanwhile, the mayor is yelling at Masayuki, the zombie guy responsible for this mess. Turns out, Lane, the vampire sage, handed Masayuki the keys to the city like it was some casual rental agreement. The mayor begs him to take his zombie horde elsewhere, but Masayuki insists he's just following Lane's orders. To prove he's serious, he blasts his voice through the city speakers and flashes Yogiri and Tomochika's pictures on a giant screen, giving the citizens an hour to hand them over or else the zombies start munching again. So now, it's not just the zombies after them. The whole city's on the hunt. Tomochika realizes humans are way scarier than zombies, and Yogiri agrees they should just hide and keep moving. But soon enough, 3 brave idiots find them and try to cash in on the bounty. Yogiri warns them not to get close, or they'll regret it. But one guy charges anyway and drops dead instantly. The other 2 run for their lives while Tomochika groans about how gross it is that promises in this world always seem to end in bloodshed. Yogiri, unfazed, just shrugs. They were gonna kill us, so fair's fair. Tired of playing hide-and-seek, Yogiri decides to go straight to Masayuki and negotiate. Tomochika thinks the Halloween vibes in the plaza are kinda cool, spooky decorations. Undead everywhere, while Yogiri cuts right to the point, asking who Masayuki even is. Masayuki tries to act all high and mighty, calling them boring for surrendering, but Yogiri just calls him an idiot. Masayuki loses it and sends his immortal army to attack, bragging that Yogiri can't kill what's already dead. Bad call. Yogiri casually tells the zombies to die, and they all crumble like broken action figures. Masayuki's brain short-circuits trying to process it, while Yogiri drops the ultimate one-liner, if it moves, it's alive. If it stops, it's dead. I decide, absolute Chad energy. Masayuki tries to transform into some edgy bat-werewolf hybrid, but Yogiri shuts him down mid-glow-up. Tomochika's mad she didn't even get to see the full monster form, but Yogiri's like, why wait? With Masayuki toast, the mayor panics and spills the tea. All of this was Lane's plan. Tomochika realizes Sion, the guy who originally summoned them, might not be the only sage in play, which makes things even more confusing. Before they can process it, Yogiri senses killing intent everywhere. Lane's pulling puppet strings, sending clones, and giant monsters to smash the city. Yogiri takes them down like he's swatting flies, even killing an enormous aggressor beast without breaking a sweat. But Lane's got tricks. She floods the skies with identical clones, raining attacks. Tomochika asks how many lanes there even are, and the mayor explains it's basically infinite because of her regeneration. Luckily, the spirit notices a pattern in the clone strikes. Turns out, Miss, I'm so clever, made her attacks predictable. Using that, Yogiri teleports teleports with Tomochika, kills the clones one by one, and eventually, even Lane's true body gets sniped in another dimension. She dies mid-smug monologue, leaving behind a younger clone, Mei, who doesn't even have her memories. With the city finally calm, the mayor thanks Yogiri, and Tomochika gives them a car and tells them to be careful. Yogiri, gamer at heart, admits he's terrible at driving because he always crashes in racing games. Tomochika's horrified, but the spirit reassures her that her family's got drive anything skills.
That's the end of the recap. Let us know if you want part 2 by leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to avoid being virgin forever. See you guys in the next video.